Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so what we're gonna work on today. I'm gonna finish that V-bend world that my nephew worked on last week. Again, we ran out of time, so he wasn't able to do the whole thing, which is okay. So I'll finish that. The other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna finish up steering this weekend. That's the goal, is to have the steering rack in place. Now, I am going to flip these again. So passenger side will go to driver's side will go to passenger side, so that the steering knuckles in the front. But what I'm doing right now is I just measured the existing hole for the tie rod, which is like, it's a tapered hole and it goes to 1/2 inch at the top. I'm gonna cut it out. I'm gonna go buy a drill for 5/8 and drill it straight. Eventually I'm gonna have to put a bump steer kit in this anyways, so that will prep it for that. And it'll also preset the steering rack being in the front for using the Mustang knuckles when we get there too. The other thing I gotta do is, like, there's some broken bolts and stuff in the knuckles that I have to get removed. So I'm gonna work on that as well, so we can get fully functional knuckles. I don't have my ball joint tool, or a ball joint tool, so this side will have to wait to get the new ball joint, but we do have a ball joint for this side. I also have a new bushing, so that will all get set up. The other thing that will get installed on this side that's on the other side is I have a loop, like a carriage bolt type loop, that's gonna go into this pre-existing hole, and that's where I'm going to tie down the limiter. We'll be off of that, and then it'll probably come up into the strut, there we go, into the strut tower somewhere, and just strap a cable similar to like what we had before, and hopefully that will achieve the goal. But I do want to have this thing steering by the end of this weekend. That's the goal. Today, the kids are going to their aunt's house for a cookout, so I don't have any children. So we're just gonna go ham and get a bunch of this stuff done. Okay, so what you watched is, let me rotate things around. I drilled this hole out, so now my Mustang tie rod fits in there. I still got plenty of meat left, so I'm good there. It's got a little bit of play, but I think once we clamp it down, it'll be fine. And then I just removed this really crusty bolt that should not have been in. All right, so you saw I removed this crusty bolt that really should not have been in here. Now I need to go in, and they tack welded it, as you can see right here. So I'm gonna take a cutoff wheel. Maybe I'll sawzall it. I might just sawzall through there so this springs back open like it's supposed to, and then I'll find a bolt that's the right size for this. Because this is just a hair long. So they just basically threaded it in like this, and then when it stopped moving, they welded it. So, stuff you find when you're taking something back apart. I didn't do the front suspension on this car the first time. It was pre-existing. So now we're just fixing things. Put you back on time. Okay, so unfortunately you didn't see that because my tripod's acting up. But we have a bolt in there. So it's fully, let's go this way, fully split. Now the bolt threads all the way in there. That's a proper size bolt. So if I tighten this, this squeezes. So now the ball joint inside this hole should get squeezed, and we should be good. So I'll leave this loosened up so I can put it. This knuckle is going to go on the passenger side. The passenger side is going to go to the driver. We're going to repeat the process on the passenger side one when we get it out, which will be drilling this out, fixing this, and then our knuckles should be usable. At some point, I'll probably replace the wheel bearing as well. This actually has a really good wheel bearing in it right now, so I'm not fighting with it right this second. But probably before we actually make past the track or something, and if it becomes a problem, I'll replace, put a new one in, and then we won't have to worry about it. Which essentially will make it so that the whole front end is brand new, because the ball joints are new, tie rods are new, rack is new, suspension will be new, so we should be good there. Let me go back to the other side. All right, after in a god bearably long time, a lot of stupid problems because of what these other people did. In the time lapse, you might have seen, I don't remember where I moved the phone, but I ended up having to weld a nut on the end of the broken bolt because I tried drilling it and it wasn't drilling very well. But I got it out, and then I cut it already, I chase it and do a bunch of stuff to get this to line up. But now there's a bolt in there. So we should, in theory, be able to bolt this onto the driver's side, connect the steering rack, and then have a fully assembled suspension, except I do need to put the new stuff in that lower controller, but for a different day because I don't have a ball joint tool today. So let's get started. All right, so we got spindles on both sides. The rack is kind of in place. I gotta run a quick errand, so we'll be back. But you can see, there you go. So the 3/4 double D is gonna come out of here. It's gonna go up to that hole, and my other shaft sticks out just a little bit out of here. So that's that. But first thing I need to do is recenter the rack before I weld it in, because right now this wheel's trent out. I think they're both trent out right now. Weird. Right? Yeah. So we'll recenter the rack when I get back, and we'll keep going. Okay. So we have the rack back in place, down there. Suspension all tidied up. The wheels are pretty well in line, and I have the new mounting pieces marked up. I'll come in the morning, and I'm going to have to put excuse me, reliefs in those. The reliefs I'll put in will be to mount to the cross member bar, and then from the cross member bar, I'll just weld it all up. I think I'm going to try and find, I don't have a whole lot of it, but I'm gonna find some material that I can weld. Let me grab a piece of the old one. Actually, I might be able, we'll try these ones again before I do all this cutting. What I think I'm gonna do is find a piece. I'm gonna find a piece to weld here as like a stop, because I'm gonna be welding a plate on the end with a nut inside to bolt the actual column 2. Hold on. All right. So this piece is going to have something like this that has a nut in it that we can screw to, and then there'll be a plate over the front of the steering rack to hold it, to sandwich it in place. This is what's going to align it. And what I think I'm going to do is get something, a material, so that back here, because I don't need the rack slid back pretty far right now. I want to slide it forward just a hair. So I think I have it marked to where the rack's currently sitting. I'm going to weld something just past that mark, and that'll keep the rack from sliding back too far. And then when I cut it and plate it, it should be good. But that's for tomorrow. Today is over. It's a very hot day. I'm gross. I need to go home and let my dog out and take a shower and do all that fun stuff. So I'll see y'all in the morning.